Hey, what's up, Street Talks? The Eric from the Eric Street Photography blog. So I wanted to share with you some ideas on how to motivate yourself or how to be more motivated in life. So let me just kind of break this apart for you. So first and foremost, what does motivation even mean? I generally think the best definition for motivation is it literally means to move. And I kind of like this definition of motivation because it's much more practical and it's more concrete. So what is the opposite of motivation? What's the opposite of moving? My gut reaction would be to be standing still or to not move, but actually technically it's to retrogress. I don't actually think there's an exact opposite of motivation or moving, but I think generally speaking, when we're not moving and we can't get ourselves out of bed, we cannot, motivate ourselves to do anything, to think anything, to get out of bed, to leave the house, to talk to people, to make stuff, make photos, whatever it may be. I think we start to feel certain physiological and psychological things that we refer to as depression. Or it might be ennui, E-N-N-U-I, which is what the French like to use. This feeling of apathy. Apathy, I think it's Greek for apathos, which means like lack of feeling. Essentially, it's the feeling of just like, feeling just kind of shitty. You don't want to do shit and, everything feels so dark and gloom and negative and you feel so pessimistic, whatever it may be. And trust me, like I've gone through this, you've gone through this, we've all gone through it. I think the people in Istanbul, the Turkish call it huzun. I think it just usually happens during the winter months. Anyways, melancholy, black bile, whatever they thought about it in the past. But anyways, I think in life, so first and foremost, once again, I don't really even like the notion of motivation because it's so muddled up with notions of like, motivational speaking and, motivational articles. And it's a little bit, it feels like a bit empty, perhaps, maybe the concept. But the basic notion is, at least for myself, when I'm actively creating, making, thinking, interacting, leaving the house, going to coffee shops, talking to strangers, whatever it may be, I'm just happier. I feel more joy in life. Things seem brighter. The clouds are pinker, whatever it may be. And I obviously don't have the answers for you, but I'll just tell you what works for me. So, currently, I'm currently in the suburbs of Little Saigon in Orange County. And yeah, like every single morning I get out of bed, I'm like, oh fuck, I need a cup of coffee. I have an espresso, I'm like, fuck, still tired. Have another espresso, I'm like, I feel a little better. Maybe by the third espresso, I'm like, all right, time to go. So generally speaking, and then, I'm gonna first just give you some more practical tips and then maybe move on to more like philosophical ideas. So first and foremost, if you don't drink caffeine or consume caffeine in some sort of way, you don't need to, obviously, but it's so simple. I think just having like coffee I've kind of been on and off this, like, should I drink coffee? Should I not drink coffee? When should I stop drinking coffee? Blah, blah. Essentially, my rule is during the day, allow yourself to drink unlimited black coffee, no cream, no sugar, no almond milk or oat milk or all that silly filler. Just allow yourself to have unlimited black coffee, black tea, green tea, matcha green tea, whatever kind of is your thing. I think caffeine is one of the best motivators for us to move. And I think the way the caffeine works is that, first and foremost, like God didn't just like bestow humanity with coffee beans and tea leaves and it's like, all right, be caffeinated and all will be good. It's, to my understanding, caffeine is the natural pesticide or insect repellent inherent in the coffee plant and the tea plant. And the evolutionary purpose of caffeine was for them to keep predators away. Because if I'm a coffee plant, I'm not like, hey guys, come and eat me. I'm like, no, stay the fuck away, right? I don't want to be eaten. So I think small like insects, if they eat like coffee beans or whatever, they actually like die because they just cannot take the poison. But fortunately for us humans, we're a lot bigger. It just kind of gives us like a mild buzz. And I think the way it works is a small dosage of poison actually stimulates us in a positive way. The process is called hormesis, not to be confused with homeopathy, which is pseudoscience. Hormesis is the notion that, you know, poison in small doses makes it stronger. I think the best blog I found on this is gettingstronger.org. This guy who writes on it, it's really fantastic. The basic notion that any amount of that stress in certain doses are actually positive for us. But anyways, going back to caffeine, yeah, like I think obviously caffeine's an addiction, whatever it may be. But I think as long as you have coffee extracted through, you know, coffee beans, as long as you're not popping caffeine pills, I think you're okay. Because like even to my understanding, like a lot of natives in, like, you know, Southern America who chew on cocoa leaves, you know, which causes cocaine. Just chewing on cocoa leaves is like the dosage is so small. It's probably actually like kind of good for you. But obviously, if you fucking extract that shit like to the max and you start doing lines of cocaine in a very unnatural format, that's probably bad. But you know, who knows? Maybe one day, or I think it's already. I wonder if I should go to South America and just start chewing on cocoa leaves, or who knows, maybe one day in the future they might import cocoa leaves and people can just chew on. Anyways, I'm getting a little bit off topic. So the basic idea is this, is that small doses of poison, aka caffeine, is actually a good stimulant for us to move. So for example, I have a cup of coffee. I can't just sit there. I just want to move around. I want to think. I want to move. I want to write. I want to make videos. So I think caffeine is honestly probably the least bad drug that exists to humankind until we could find something better. I don't recommend drinking Red Bull or any other synthetic things because I think the issue is that the dosage is just probably too high. So the first thing is drink more black coffee. I prefer espresso. And another tip I would give is, and this is so silly, right? So if you think about motivation as just literally wanting to move, we just need to move more, and it's a very simple notion, but actually it's very difficult to implement in real life. So I don't know where you live, but I'm currently in the suburbs. If you ever been to LA suburbs, there's freaking no sidewalks. Like they're like, oh, go for a walk. But there's like not even sidewalks. Like I may still walk around the block, but I'm like dodging cars and stuff like that because people here are crazy. And I've actually found one of the best places to just walk is just go to the gym. If you're in the suburbs, just go to the gym, walk around, and now I've been making a daily practice to go to the gym at least once a day, usually first thing when I wake up, and sometimes if I'm feeling good, I'll even go in the evening. And I think this is my different notion. I don't think we should necessarily go to the gym to exercise. I actually think that the benefits of going to the gym are actually much more manifold. So for example, I kind of like going to the gym, just like seeing other people. It's like if you're watching this and you're into street photography, I think a lot of us just kind of like to people watch. And the feeling of being surrounded by other people, I think contrary to popular belief, it's actually a little bit like kind of reassuring. Certainly to be locked up in a cage with no other humans around you, it's probably the worst misery that you could do to a human being. And yeah, even at the gym, I've made some friends, and you know, I know most of the staff there, so I just wave hi and I just make small talk. So even that's kind of nice. And sometimes even overhearing people's random conversations could spark some new creative ideas. Also, I'm lucky that the gym I go to, I think it's called Crunch, yeah. They even have a free sauna, and it's a dry sauna, and that's really nice because every time after I work out, I just take a shower and then I just sit in the sauna. And I'm not in there for that long, like maybe 5 minutes. And that's actually one of the best times for me to think, to meditate, to reflect. All I literally do is I sit down, I close my eyes, and I just sit there for 5 minutes until I feel warm, and then I just leave. And I don't force myself to meditate by like doing mantras or none of that silliness. I just sit there and I just think. And I don't even force myself to think. I just sit there, and then thoughts just kind of naturally occur. And a lot of these ideas lead to creative ideas, because usually when you go into the sauna, one of the benefits is you don't use your phone. Unfortunately, there's a lot of people nowadays who even use their phones in the sauna. I'm like, why would you do that? And going to the gym, walking around, and you know, if you go to the gym, right, just like, maybe if you just want to move around, just go to the gym just to walk around. You might even not even need to lift weights, just people watch. But then, you know, you show up to the gym, you know, then you're just like, oh, might as well just lift some weights. And the thing I want to talk about is I really feel like deadlifts could change the world. It's actually really funny. Like even Cindy, yesterday, I went to the gym with her. She freaking deadlifted 195 pounds once. And she's like this tiny Asian girl, right? So, and that is amazing because like even Cindy, after her deadlifting, she just kind of gets this crazy rush, this like, you know, the endorphins, serotonin, whatever, neurochemicals. And it just kind of makes you feel like a beast. And this applies to both men and women. And generally speaking, I think the best way to, or the most time effective and the most fun way to do deadlifts at the gym is like the 1 rep max type of training. So usually I show up, I warm up, I put 45s on each side, do 3 reps, add another 25 on each side, do 2 reps, add another 25, or take that off, put on 2 plates, do like 1 rep, add 25s on each side, do another rep, take that off, put on 45 on each side, do 1 rep, and then I just keep doing that until I just work up to my working weight. And essentially, I focus on reps from the 1 to 3 range, and obviously I just keep increasing the weight, and I just attempt a one rep max is like the maximum amount of weight you could physically yank. And it's very simple. Every single week I just try to add 5 pounds, which is like if you go to the gym, there's these little tiny like 2.5 pound plates. You just add the 2.5 pounds plates each week and just fucking try to pull that up. And it's more about the attempt of trying to lift more weights. It doesn't really even matter if you're successful or not. And anyways, after I deadlift, I feel like a fucking beast, right? Like you just kind of like, you feel so motivated, you feel so good, you feel so accomplished, and you could just take that high and just ride it for the rest of the day. Like, let me give you an example. This morning when I woke up, I just felt like, woke up, house is kind of cold, I'm just like kind of feeling frigid. Had some coffee, I was reading some of my best friend Nietzsche a little bit, The Genealogy of Morals. It's like pretty good, but I'm not really feeling it. I was like a little bit sore because I just worked out yesterday. Ooh, good news, I squatted 300 1 rep max the other day. So anyways, feeling a little bit sore. Cindy goes to the gym with her mom, so I'm like, oh, okay, maybe I'll just go to the gym, whatever. And I just did some deadlifts and then took a sauna, and I feel like fantastic. And now I'm like, okay, I have like 1 trillion watts of energy to just do creative work today. And this is the odd thing, is that, you know, this is just like a random thought I had too, is that we talk a lot about like mental wellness and mental well-being, but to be honest, and this is just my opinion, I really think that 90% of mental health is just like physical health. I mean, consider, right? If you took anyone who's having some sort of mental health issues, right? And then just say, do deadlifts, go to the gym at least once a day, do deadlift squats or heavy dumbbell press, do a hot sauna at least once a day. Certainly it won't, obviously it's not gonna like cure the depression or whatever, but it certainly is not gonna make them feel worse. I think it could only make people feel better. And I think a lot of it too, this is just like what I've experienced too, is that honestly in winter months, and I don't know where you're in the world, but dude, when it's fucking dark and there's no sunlight, that shit fucking sucks, man. I'm so sorry. And you know, some things I've discovered which help is having really nice bright lights. Like even this light here, it's kind of, I'm currently in the my sister-in-law's back house. This light is nice. Sometimes even some gyms even have like these UV tanning things. I think, you know, that must help. Or just being able to expose yourself to more sunlight. And so once again, like if you guys are living somewhere it's cold and dark all the time, like aka Sweden or Umeå, it's, you know, you are a freaking champ, because like that's pretty amazing. So pulling yourself out of the winter months is actually really, really hard. And I think, you know, if you really can't take it, just go on a flight and go to Saigon or Hanoi for a few days or a few weeks to just kind of warm up. But anyways, so I think my sense is lack of motivation. A lot of it must be some sort of physiological thing, whether you're not exercising your muscles enough. It's so simple, walking. When I read Nassim Taleb's Anti-Fragile, he had this hype. He says he tries to walk at least I think he said he tries to walk at least 2 hours a day. I'm like, whoa, that's pretty impressive. And his theory is perhaps, like, you know, down the line, maybe 50 years from now, you know, scientists will discover that walking is actually as important to our health as sleeping. And I read that and I was like, that's actually a really interesting idea, because you even wonder, Like in today's world, like why walk? We have cars, we got, I don't know, Segways and Ubers, whatever. Most of us don't walk at all. And one of the interesting things that I've discovered is, you think about a human, we have 2 legs and we walk like this. Why do we even have a brain? My theory is that we have a brain in order to walk, to coordinate our movement. Even being able to balance on 2 legs must require a lot of brain skills. And if you study I think there's like this jellyfish-like thing that's called the sea squirt, and it has a brain when it needs to move, and then when it finds nutrition and it digs itself in the ground and no longer needs to move, it just eats its own brain, so it doesn't even need to move anymore. So my thought is, if humans are in a situation where we no longer move or need to move, there's no requirement to move, certainly there must be some sort of psychological damage done to our brains when we no longer need to move. So it's just try to walk around more. I mean, practical things to do is, even when I used to work my office job, whenever I'm feeling stressed, I'll just take my camera and just walk around the block, or just, take your phone, walk around the block, just take photos on your phone. I actually think the biggest benefit of photography isn't just making photos. It's really good for our mental health. It's good for, overcoming symptoms of depression, or making us feel better at least, because it motivates us to move around. And if you want to make more photos, you have to move, you have to walk. So a simple motto to think about is, if you want to make more photos or make better photos, just try to walk more. Moving on. So I also think, this is also another idea that I have, which I think is actually pretty, I don't know if this is unique or not, but this is my idea, is my third point is, I think actually if you want to be more motivated, don't eat during the day. Once again, if you think about humans as like just another animal, right? Why do we need to move? Why do we have a brain, right? Once again, to walk, to move, to procure nutrients, to eat essentially, right? And so for me, I've done this for last maybe 2 years. I'm actually pretty religious on this. I don't eat breakfast or lunch. I fast until dinner time, and obviously I feel hunger pangs. Like even now, I heard my stomach grumbling a little bit because I deadlifted 405. I just did it like an hour ago. When you're hungry, you're just sharper. You're like a little bit more like keen. You're a little bit more aware, and I think hunger is actually a good stimulus to movement, to being motivated, because I mean, this is my theory, is like, even if you're hungry and then you go on your laptop, you're doing creative work, you're writing a blog post, making a video, making photos, whatever, it's almost like you're hunting for the food. Or even if you're hungry, right? It's so funny, I've taught so many workshops, right? Whenever we're shooting photos in the morning before people really have a big meal, everyone is really motivated, takes a lot of pictures, then we have lunch, and then let's say someone gets a pizza or gets some pasta, everyone's so sleepy, and then they essentially go into sleepy mode for the next 2 or 3 hours. And I'm like, I wonder if we could hack our human metabolism so we don't get food coma. Same as me, I get food coma. And so I was like, I wonder if I just didn't eat breakfast for lunch and just waited to have food coma until in nighttime before I sleep, at nighttime. And then that would make more sense, because that means I'm sharp throughout the whole day. I have the maximum amount of energy and vigor and focus. And then once it's dinner time, I just freaking grub out and I just eat all the meat I possibly can. And, nutrition, which tastes good to me. And then, obviously you get food coma, then you just go sleep. It's does that make so much more sense? But some people make the wrong assumption. They think that, the human body is some sort of automobile where food is fuel. Let's say your car has an empty tank, you need to insert fuel in order for it to run. But no, human beings aren't that way. We have all this, oh, you kind of like that, right? I used to be a fat kid, so I have a lot of elastic skin. So we have a lot of fat on our bodies. Obviously that's just stored up energy, and we can still move. I mean, I think the human being, assuming we drink water, we could actually live, at least 40 days, 30 days without eating, without dying, right? So this notion that I need to eat every 2 or 3 hours, or even that you have to have 3 meals a day, I think is totally bonkers. Let me give you an example. One day, In the morning, I like deadlifted like, I think like 420 or something like that. And then I drink a bunch of coffee and water and stuff like that. And then at like 5 p.m. I went to the gym again. And I did like heavy squats. I like squatted 290 or something like that. And then just kind of went, I think I went to the mall with Cindy and we're just walking around, hanging out, And then I didn't eat until like 9:30 p.m. And honestly, I felt fine. So obviously if your body's not used to fasting throughout the day, you're probably not going to feel fine. You're going to be feeling like ravenously hungry, whatever. But it's just know that it's a possibility that you could train your metabolism. And I like to go extreme is I want to have the maximal amount of vigor and energy and productivity throughout the day in order for me to 100% relax at night and feel like I've given it my all. So when you're watching me in these videos, know that once again, it might not be for the faint of heart, but if our goal is to become Supermen, super people, yeah, why not go hard and do some cool epic shit, right? So I would actually just recommend just try it out. I mean, I think in modern society, food is so hyper abundant anyway, you're not gonna starve. It's hilarious. Oh, and also this is just like another random thing I was thinking about is that, like, you know, a lot of us say, oh, you know, I want to work out and go to the gym, but I'm so busy, I have no time. Ask yourself, do you have time to eat, right? Do you have time to eat lunch? Which usually takes most people like, I mean, anywhere from 15 minutes to an hour, right? Do you have time to eat lunch or dinner? Is this something you prioritize? Yeah. Then perhaps you should prioritize working out as much too. And I'm not saying this to be pejorative or to be like you must work out and if you're not, you're a bad person. It's more like if you yourself like to work out, but you feel kind of guilty working out or going to the gym every day because it feels like a luxury or I should be working and making money. Or other people say, oh my God, you go to the gym so much, that's so bad. Be like, okay, you know, I'm just trying to think of a generic name. Okay, man, I don't want to offend anyone. Okay, I'll use my alter ego, Derek, okay? So imagine Derek's like, oh, Eric, you go to the gym all the time. Oh, I'm so lucky to be you. That's such a luxury, whatever, right? And I'm like, okay, Derek, do you eat food during the day? Yeah. What do you eat? Oh, I have a small breakfast. I usually have like a granola bar. I have lunch and I have dinner. I'm like, okay. You know, do you need to eat every day? So, oh yeah, of course I need every day. Well, I need to go to the gym every day. So it's kind of a way for you to help other people understand your perspective by taking their perspective and kind of putting it out at them, right? So just know that your own physical health, your own mental health, your own physiology, it's insanely important. Is that if you don't take care of yourself, you can't help nobody else. And so it's my personal philosophy that first and foremost, always prioritize yourself. Always prioritize yourself. Before your kids, before your wife, before your partner, husband, whatever it may be, your family members, your sick grandmother, whatever. Because if you ain't strong, if you're not motivated, and let's say you want to help other people, how can you help other people? And this is another thought I had too, is that like, if you really want to be empower other people and help other people and make them stronger, you have to cultivate your own strength and like to train yourself to the zenith and then just keep pushing yourself forward and become the most epic you possible, and then use that energy to empower other people. It seems like a very simple formula, but currently my life philosophy or what I believe in or my life mission is I want to become the most epic me possible, and I also want to help other people become the most epic them possible. So once again, watching this video, it's just my personal thoughts, just my personal opinions. I'm not right or wrong. This may or may not help you. It most likely won't help you, but at least I just wanted to spark some ideas on terms of motivation. And once you are motivated, what should you do? I would just recommend, you know, doing, building up your intellect, reading philosophy, making stuff, building stuff, whether it's physical, whether it's digital, write blog posts, make videos, go out and help people. Sometimes it's good to just go into a classroom and just teach, figure out kids who need help, like volunteer time at some sort of like, you know, after school program, help some kids like in the inner city, whatever it may be. You know, maybe go out and give some company to a friend who might be a little bit lonely, whatever it may be. Just know that, yeah, motivation is, I think motivation is 90% physiological. So just, yeah. So once again, to just recap, how to be more motivated. 1, go to the gym at least once a day. Simple. 2, don't eat breakfast or lunch. Fast during the day so you're nice and hungry so you stay motivated. 3, walk whenever possible. 4, drink more coffee. And the 5th and last one, I think it's to dictate your own purpose in life, to create a strong mission statement for yourself and just follow it. So my mission statement right now is I want to make other people stronger and feel more powerful or empowered and help them become more powerful, right? And obviously I want to empower myself too. And to me, that's the best impetus, is that if you have a reason to live and you have created your own self-meaning and your own purpose in life, you do anything possible, right? So thank you so much for watching this, guys. If you have any personal tips on how you stay motivated, ideas and thoughts that you feel like could encourage other people, just leave a comment down below and share your wisdom. Thanks a lot for watching, guys. Peace out.